I've been using the ASUS ROG Pelta wireless gaming headset for just over 3 weeks now, testing it both in my daily gaming sessions and during long work calls. At first, I wasn't sure what to expect. ROG gear can sometimes feel flashy without always delivering, but this headset actually surprised me. It has some genuinely impressive features for the price, though I also ran into a few quirks that I think anyone considering it should know about. Design and build quality. The Pelta is clearly designed with comfort in mind. The ear cups are large, over-ear style with memory foam that doesn't feel too stiff or too soft, even after a couple hours of continuous use. The headband distributes weight evenly, and at around 320 grams, it's not the lightest headset I've used, but still comfortable enough for long sessions. The matte plastic body feels solid, and the ROG branding is noticeable but not overdone compared to flashier headsets like the SteelSeries Arctis Nova 7. One detail I appreciated is that the ear cushions don't trap as much heat as some of the thicker ones I've used on HyperX models, though in a hot room, you'll still feel some warmth after a while. The physical buttons and wheel on the ear cup are clicky and easy to reach without looking, which is a small but important detail in the middle of a game. Key features in action. The first standout feature for me has been the wireless connection. It uses a low-latency 2.4 GHz dongle, and in all my testing, whether I was playing Valorant, watching movies, or hopping on Discord, I never noticed delay or desync issues. I've had cheaper headsets where voices sound slightly off from lip movement, and that just wasn't the case here. Range-wise, I could walk across my apartment without dropouts, which puts it on par with the Logitech G Pro X wireless. Another strong point is the microphone. I'll be honest, I don't expect great mics on gaming headsets, but the Pelta surprised me. Friends on Discord told me my voice sounded clearer than when I used my old Razer Blackshark V2 Pro. It's not studio quality, of course, but the noise cancellation worked well even when I had a fan running nearby. Battery life is also worth mentioning. ASUS claims around 50 hours, and while I didn't keep a stopwatch, I got just under a week of use before recharging when I gamed a few hours each night and used it for occasional calls during the day. That's competitive with the Arctis Nova 7 and much better than some headsets that barely scrape 20 to 25 hours. The USB-C fast charging is handy too. 30 minutes plugged in gave me enough juice for the evening. Performance and daily reality. In terms of sound quality, I found the Pelta delivers a strong, punchy experience for gaming. Explosions and gunfire in Apex Legends had impact, but I could still pick out directional cues like footsteps, which is what you want in competitive play. The surround sound feature does make a difference, though it's more noticeable in big, open-world games like Cyberpunk 2077, where the ambient audio is richer. Music listening was solid but not spectacular. The bass is strong, but mids can feel slightly recessed compared to a pair of dedicated music headphones like my Audio-Technica M40X. During long sessions, I didn't run into pressure points or clamp fatigue, which is a big win for me since I've abandoned headsets before purely due to discomfort. Voice chat clarity remained consistent, and I never had to fiddle with settings mid-game. Compared to expectations, I'd say the Pelta's audio holds its ground against similarly priced competitors, though it doesn't quite reach the balanced sound profile of higher-end sets like the SteelSeries Arctis Nova Pro. Limitations and trade-offs. That said, the headset isn't perfect. The software, Armory Crate, is clunky. Customizing EQ profiles or mic settings feels more like a chore than it should, and I sometimes had issues with the software not recognizing the headset unless I unplugged the dongle and restarted it. Also, while the soundstage is good for gaming, audiophiles will notice the lack of nuance in music playback. Another limitation is that Bluetooth isn't included. It's strictly 2.4 GHz wireless or wired USB-C. That might not matter to someone who only games on PC or console, but if you wanted one headset for everything including your phone, this isn't it. Final verdict. Overall, I think the ASUS ROG Pelta wireless gaming headset nails the basics and goes further than I expected in mic quality and battery life. Buy this if you want a reliable, comfortable headset for PC or console gaming that won't die halfway through your weekend session. Skip this if you need multi-point Bluetooth support, seamless software, or if your main priority is high-fidelity music listening. In 6 months, I see myself still using this as my daily gaming headset, And that's not something I say about every piece of ROG gear I test. I've been using the HyperX Cloud III 727A for just over a month now, mostly for late-night gaming sessions, some work calls, and a bit of music listening in between. Honestly, I went in expecting just another gaming headset because I've used the Cloud 2 before and a bunch of SteelSeries and Razer headsets. But this one surprised me in a few areas while also frustrating me in others. It's a headset that feels familiar, but with some meaningful tweaks, and also some trade-offs that might matter depending on what you're looking for. Design and build quality. The first thing I noticed when unboxing the Cloud 3 was how solid it feels without being too heavy. The headband is well padded and doesn't clamp too hard on my head, which is a big plus during 3 to 4 hour gaming sessions. The ear cups use memory foam that actually lives up to the comfort promise. I didn't get the sweaty, overheated feeling as fast as I do with leatherette pads on some competing headsets. Compared to the Cloud 2, the overall build feels a bit more refined, like HyperX paid attention to long-term durability. I wouldn't say it looks premium like the SteelSeries Arctis Nova Pro, but it also doesn't feel plasticky like some budget Razer models. The detachable mic is still a smart move, especially since I sometimes just use these for music. Everything feels designed with gamers in mind, but also versatile enough for mixed use. Key features in action. On the audio side, I immediately noticed that HyperX tuned this headset for clarity over flashy bass. Footsteps in Apex Legends and Valorant were easy to track because mids and highs are very present. Explosions and gunfire still have impact, but if you're someone who loves chest-thumping bass, this might feel slightly restrained compared to Razer's Kraken headsets. Personally, I like that HyperX doesn't overdo it. It makes long sessions less fatiguing. Music-wise, it's decent, though I'd say it favors instrumental clarity more than heavy EDM. The detachable mic also deserves credit. During Discord calls, my friends said my voice sounded clean and natural, not overly processed like some headsets do. I tested it against my Blue Yeti just for fun. It obviously isn't on that level, but for a headset mic, it's really solid. I even used it in a Zoom work call, and nobody could tell I wasn't on a standalone mic. That versatility is underrated. Lastly, the onboard controls are simple: volume wheel and mute button. Nothing fancy, but I like the fact I don't need software running all the time. HyperX Ingenuity software is available for extra tweaks like DTS Headphone X, but honestly, I barely used it. Plug-and-play worked fine for me, which is something I can't say for headsets that rely heavily on bloated software. Performance and daily reality. In daily gaming, the Cloud 3 really does its job well. For competitive titles, positional audio is the standout. It just makes it easier to tell whether someone's sneaking up behind me or rushing from the left. I compared it directly to the SteelSeries Arctis 7P Plus I still own, and while the Arctis has slightly wider soundstage, the Cloud 3 actually feels more focused, which I prefer in shooters. For comfort, I wore these for a marathon 6-hour gaming night, and while my ears eventually got warm, the weight distribution kept me from feeling sore. That's more than I can say for my old Logitech G Pro X, which always gave me a headache after long sessions. One thing I did notice, though, is that the Cloud 3 doesn't isolate outside noise as well as some closed-back headsets. I could still hear a bit of background chatter in my house, which is fine for me, but might bother someone gaming in a noisier environment. When it comes to music and movies, the performance is good enough, but not mind-blowing. If you're mainly gaming, you'll love it. If you're an audiophile, you'll notice the limitations pretty fast. Limitations and trade-offs. Now for the downsides. The Cloud 3 isn't wireless, which for some people in 2025 feels outdated. Personally, I'm fine with wired because I don't like worrying about charging, but if you've gotten used to wireless headsets, this might feel like a step back. Another limitation is customization. Compared to SteelSeries or even Razer Synapse, the HyperX software is bare bones. Some people will appreciate the simplicity, but if you're the type who likes EQ profiles, lighting effects, or more detailed tweaks, you might feel underwhelmed. And lastly, while the mic is good for gaming and calls, it does pick up some background noise in louder rooms. It's not a huge problem, but it's there. Final verdict. So, after a month of using the HyperX Cloud III 727A daily, here's my bottom line. Buy this if you want a reliable wired gaming headset that prioritizes comfort, clear positional audio, and a strong mic without needing to babysit software. It's especially good if you mostly play competitive shooters or spend hours in Discord. Skip this if you want wireless freedom, heavy bass for music, or advanced software customization. It's not trying to be an all-in-one lifestyle headset. It's very much a gaming-first product. For me, it strikes a really nice balance between durability, comfort, and sound quality. Not the flashiest headset on the market, but one I actually keep reaching for because it just works. I've been using the Audeze Maxwell for about 3 weeks now, mainly for gaming on both PC and console, but also for music listening and a few calls. What surprised me right away is how different this headset feels compared to typical gaming headsets I've owned. It doesn't just try to be flashy, it actually performs in ways I wasn't expecting, but that also comes with some quirks worth pointing out. Design and build quality. The first thing I noticed picking it up was the weight. It's heavier than most headsets I've used, but the suspension headband design spreads that weight well. I could game for 3 to 4 hours without neck strain, though after longer sessions I definitely felt the difference compared to lighter headsets like the SteelSeries Arctis Nova Pro. The materials feel premium, solid metal frame, plush pads, but this sturdiness also makes them less throw-in-a-bag-and-go friendly. The ear cups are large, and while that gives the planar magnetic drivers space to shine, it also means this headset looks bulkier than something like the Razer Blackshark V2 Pro. The controls are placed logically, though I did have to train my muscle memory to find the volume and chat balance wheels quickly in the middle of a game. Key features in action. The standout here is definitely the sound. Audeze is known for planar magnetic drivers, and you can hear it instantly. In my testing, directional audio in competitive shooters like Apex Legends and Valorant felt pinpoint accurate. I could tell not just the direction, but also the distance of footsteps or gunfire better than with any headset I've tried in the same price range. Compared to something like the Logitech G Pro X2 Lightspeed, the Maxwell has a much wider and more detailed soundstage. Battery life is another big win. I easily got close to 70 hours on a single charge, even with mixed usage. That's insane when I compare it to the 20 to 30 hours I usually get from other wireless headsets. It changes the way you use it. You stop thinking about charging altogether, which is rare for a gaming headset. Then there's the versatility. I used the Maxwell across PC, PS5, and even tested it with my phone via Bluetooth. Switching wasn't always seamless. Sometimes the headset would stubbornly hold onto the previous connection, but once set up, it worked great. For late-night gaming, I love the quick swap to Bluetooth for some Spotify listening without needing to grab another pair of headphones. The microphone deserves a mention too. It's detachable, which I like, and the clarity is solid for team comms. It's not on the same level as a dedicated USB mic, but in Discord calls my friends noticed an improvement compared to the HyperX Cloud Alpha wireless mic I was using before. Performance and daily reality. Day-to-day, the Maxwell became my default headset, which says a lot. For immersive single-player games like Cyberpunk 2077, the detail in ambient sound was incredible. You hear little textures in the world that just don't come through on standard headsets. Music listening was equally enjoyable. The bass is tight without being muddy, and the mids don't get lost. That said, the weight and clamp force can be noticeable if you're marathoning games all day. Also, while latency was minimal on PC with the dongle, on Bluetooth I noticed slight lag when watching videos on my phone. It's fine for casual listening, but not something I'd use for competitive play. Compared to the SteelSeries Nova Pro wireless, the Maxwell doesn't have hot swappable batteries or an OLED base station, but it outperforms in pure audio quality and endurance. Limitations and trade-offs. The Maxwell isn't perfect. The weight will bother some people, especially if you want something ultralight. The companion software still feels clunky compared to competitors. It works, but equalizer adjustments aren't as smooth or intuitive. There's also no active noise cancellation, which stands out given the price point. If you game in a noisy environment, you'll be relying solely on the passive isolation from the pads. Final verdict. Buy the Audeze Maxwell if audio quality is your top priority and you don't mind a bit of extra heft. It's one of the best sounding gaming headsets I've ever tested, with battery life that redefines what wireless can mean. Skip it if you value lightweight comfort above all else, or if you want polished software and features like ANC.
When I first put the Nova 7 on, I immediately noticed how light and soft it felt. The headband is elastic and flexes gently, and those airweave cloth ear cushions are breathable. I could wear it for hours without feeling a tight clamp or irritation, especially helpful during long gaming or work stretches. Setup was simple. Plug in the USB-C wireless dongle to PC or console, and power on. If I wanted, I could also pair Bluetooth to my phone at the same time. Having both connections active meant I could chat on Discord via PC while listening to music or taking calls from my phone without switching headsets. Daily comfort and design. The headset stays secure even when I move my head, but it's not so snug that it squeezes. The light weight, around 325 grams, means I forget I'm wearing it a lot of the time. The ear cups are large and soft enough not to press uncomfortably, and they're replaceable if you want alternate padding materials or colors. One downside, the build uses mostly plastic, and some users online reported that certain plastic hinges can crack over time, especially if you pull on ear cups instead of using the headband. So I've been careful about handling it gently. Sound in everyday use. Gaming. Out of the box, game audio sounds clear and well separated. Footsteps, ambient effects, gunfire, voice lines, they all stand apart in a clean, somewhat warm sound signature. With the GG Sonar software, I fine-tuned the EQ and enabled spatial or virtual surround audio, like Dolby Atmos or Daysonic, making directional cues sharper and more immersive. Music and video. Music sounded decent, but not astonishing. Bass is present, but sometimes muted or muddy in deeper tracks. Mid-range details could feel slightly blurred, and high highs occasionally felt harsh without EQ tweaking. After spending time adjusting the equalizer in Sonar, I got better balance for listening to music, but it took effort. Voice and communication. The mic is a retractable Clearcast Gen 2 boom mic. In practice, people told me I sounded quite clear, and I could tweak side tone or mic EQ inside the software to manage how my voice came through on calls or in-game voice chat. Chat Mix lets me blend game and chat volume while gaming on various consoles, which is handy. Battery and charging habits. When using only the 2.4 GHz wireless dongle, I typically got around 35 to 38 hours of battery, more than enough between charges. If I used both Bluetooth and dongle simultaneously, it dipped closer to 26 hours. A quick 15-minute USB-C charge gives me several hours of usage, which is great for last-minute charging before a session. Features in real life. Dual device support. I enjoy gaming on PC while taking mobile calls. That seamless Bluetooth plus wireless combo really works in practice. Software value. Without SteelSeries GG it works fine, but with Sonar and the EQ features, I get much cleaner audio and voice performance. Definitely worth setting up. Customization. The chat mix or side tone dial, depending on variant, and the mute LED are helpful controls if you adjust a lot. I turn down the mute LED brightness so it's not distracting in the dark. Pros summary. Very comfortable, lightweight, breathable cloth pads, soft elasticity, great for long sessions. Great wireless flexibility, supports simultaneous dongle plus Bluetooth pairing. Long battery life and fast charging. Useful software, EQ, spatial audio, chat mix, mic tuning available. Clear voice quality. Using the mic with software filters, I sound solid in Teams or calls. Limitations to know. Sound tuning isn't perfect. Out-of-the-box sound tends toward warm overall, but bass may feel muddy or recessed, and highs can spike unless you use EQ. Build materials are mostly plastic. The plastic hinges may fail after heavy use, so treat them carefully. No active noise canceling. Background noise will bleed in easily, especially low frequencies. Microphone software helps somewhat, but it's not ANC. Soundstage and stereo consistency. Some reviews note slight imbalance between left-right drivers, shifting stereo image a bit right-heavy. Final thoughts. After using the Nova 7 as my go-to headset day-to-day, gaming, working remotely, chatting, listening to music, I can say it's a very practical choice. It's comfortable enough to wear all day, battery life is reliable, and the ability to connect to multiple devices at once is genuinely useful. If you're okay spending a little time on audio customization and don't mind some plastic in the build, it delivers a strong all-around experience. But if you're chasing audiophile level sound, active noise canceling, or crystal clear noise isolation, you may eventually want something more advanced. In short, for realistic daily use, a blend of features, cross-device flexibility, and ease of wear. That's what the Nova 7 delivers. Just be gentle with it, tune the software to your liking, and you'll get a rewarding experience from it. When I first got the HyperX Cloud Alpha, I wasn't expecting anything extraordinary. I've used other headsets before, some cheap, some from well-known gaming brands, and I mostly needed something reliable for both work calls and gaming. What caught my eye was the fact that this headset didn't need any software to run. It just uses a standard 3.5mm jack, which meant I could plug it into my PC, phone, or console without messing around with drivers or apps. Setting it up was as easy as plugging it in. The detachable microphone popped into place quickly, and everything worked right out of the box. That kind of simplicity is something I really appreciate. Daily use and comfort. Wearing this headset feels surprisingly natural. The ear cups are made of memory foam, and after adjusting the headband a bit, it sat comfortably on my head. I wear glasses, and I was honestly worried about pressure around the ears, but I didn't feel much discomfort, even after a few hours. That said, during really long sessions, like 3 hours or more, I sometimes noticed a bit of pressure build up around the ears. It wasn't unbearable, but I'd probably take short breaks just to let my head breathe a little. I've read other people had similar experiences, especially compared to more premium brands that are built specifically for marathon comfort. But for everyday use, meetings, an hour or two of gaming, it works just fine. Sound quality and gaming. This is where the headset really surprised me. The sound is rich and clear. I don't have fancy audio gear, but I've used a few studio headphones before, and I wasn't expecting this headset to sound as good as it does. Bass comes through cleanly without being overwhelming, and I can pick up little sound details in games, like footsteps or distant gunshots in FPS titles, which helps a lot competitively. What I really like is that the sound doesn't feel fake or boosted. Some gaming headsets exaggerate bass or treble to sound more dramatic, but this one feels pretty balanced. Whether I'm listening to music, watching shows, or gaming, the audio feels natural and not tiring. The microphone and communication. The microphone is detachable, which is a great feature if you only need it sometimes. In meetings or during gaming sessions, I've had no complaints from others about how I sound. People tell me my voice comes through clearly, without background noise. I did read that a few people had issues with the mic not working properly or needing replacement, but mine has been fine so far. One small issue is that the mic isn't adjustable in terms of direction. It stays in place, so if I wanted to move it closer or farther from my mouth, it wasn't super flexible. But it did the job, and that's what matters to me. Build quality and durability. This is a mixed bag. On the one hand, the headset feels solid, the metal headband gives it a strong feel, and the cables are braided and look like they can handle a lot of wear and tear. The removable cable is smart too. If something goes wrong with it, I can just replace it rather than having to toss the whole headset. On the other hand, I've read that some people had durability issues after extended use. Screws coming loose, speakers giving out, or the mic dying after a while. I haven't run into any of that yet, but it's something I'm keeping an eye on. Still, for the price I paid, I think it's held up really well so far. Final thoughts. Overall, the HyperX Cloud Alpha has been a pleasant surprise. It's not perfect. I do wish it was a bit more comfortable for longer sessions, and I hope it holds up over time. But for what I use it for, it's more than enough. The sound is clear, the mic works well, and I like not having to install anything or charge it. Just plug it in and go. Would I recommend it? If you're looking for a solid wired headset that doesn't break the bank, and you're okay with a few minor trade-offs, then yeah, I'd say give it a try. Just don't expect luxury-level comfort or features. It's simple, it works, and that's what I needed.